His name was Daniel. He was just 12 years old when the flood came. Daniel lived with his mother and younger sister in a tiny house near the river. His father had passed away years earlier while working overseas, leaving his mother to raise the family alone. She worked long hours cleaning houses and selling snacks on the street just to keep food on the table. Daniel helped whenever he could. He shined shoes after school, carried groceries for neighbors, and sang on the streets to earn a few coins. Music was the one thing that made Daniel feel free. He did not have fancy instruments or lessons. His voice was his only gift. Every evening, after finishing his small jobs, he would sit near the marketplace and sing songs he heard on the radio. People would stop, listen, and sometimes wipe tears from their eyes. There was something pure and painful in his voice, something that made strangers feel his emotions even if they did not understand the words. Then came the storm. It started with heavy rain that did not stop for hours. The river slowly rose, creeping closer to their home. By midnight, the water rushed in like a wild animal. Daniel woke up to his mother screaming his name. Water was already knee-high inside the house. They grabbed what they could, but there was no time. The current was strong, and the rain was so loud it felt like the sky was breaking apart. Daniel held his sister tightly as his mother pushed them toward higher ground. At one point, the water knocked Daniel off his feet. He disappeared under the muddy flood for a terrifying moment. All he could hear was roaring water and chaos. When he finally came back up, coughing and shaking, he saw his mother's face filled with fear and determination. She pulled him back, and together they fought their way to safety. That night, they lost everything. Their home collapsed. Their clothes, their savings, their memories were gone. They spent days in an evacuation center with hundreds of other families. Daniel could not sleep. The image of the flood stayed in his mind. He felt afraid, lost, and broken. But even in that darkness, something inside him refused to give up. One evening at the evacuation center, Daniel heard volunteers playing a small speaker. Music filled the room, soft and comforting. Without thinking, Daniel began to sing along quietly. His voice echoed through the hall. People turned their heads, the noise faded. Everyone listened. For those few minutes, the pain, the fear, and the loss disappeared. When he finished, the room was silent. Then applause erupted. Some people cried. His mother hugged him tightly, realizing that her son's voice was more powerful than she ever imagined. After the flood, life was harder than before. They moved into a temporary shelter. Daniel went back to school wearing donated clothes. He still sang on the streets, but now his songs carried deeper emotion. He sang about loss, hope, and surviving the storm. Videos of him started appearing online, recorded by strangers who were touched by his voice. Slowly, those videos began to spread. One day, a local talent scout saw Daniel singing near a bus terminal. He listened quietly until the end, then approached Daniel's mother. He told her about auditions for a global talent show. At first, she laughed nervously. It felt impossible. Traveling, documents, auditions, it all sounded like a dream meant for someone else. But the scout insisted. He said this boy's voice deserved to be heard by the world. Months later, after countless forms, interviews, and support from kind people, Daniel stood backstage at America's Got Talent 2025. He wore a simple shirt and borrowed shoes. His hands were shaking. His mother hugged him and whispered that no matter what happened, she was proud of him. The stage lights were blinding. The audience felt endless. Then he saw the judges. One of them sat with a familiar, serious expression, arms crossed, eyes sharp. Simon Cowell, the man known for his honesty, his toughness, and his rare emotional reactions. Daniel took a deep breath and introduced himself. His voice trembled as he spoke about his life, the flood, and how music saved him. The audience grew quiet. Simon leaned forward slightly, listening closely. When the music started, Daniel closed his eyes. From the very first note, something magical happened. His voice was soft but strong, filled with pain and hope at the same time. Every lyric felt personal, as if he was singing his own story. The audience was completely silent. The judges did not look away for a second. As Daniel reached the chorus, his voice cracked with emotion, but he did not stop. He pushed through, letting everything he had been holding inside pour out through his song. The camera cut to Simon Cowell. His expression had changed. The tough judge swallowed hard. His eyes glistened. By the final note, many people in the audience were openly crying. Daniel stood still, breathing heavily, unsure of what he had just done. For a moment there was silence. Then the theater exploded with applause. People stood on their feet, cheering loudly. Simon Cowell took a deep breath before speaking. He admitted that he rarely got emotional, but this performance was different. He said that Daniel's voice did not just sing a song, it told a story that the world needed to hear. His voice broke slightly as he spoke, and the audience reacted with shock and emotion. The other judges praised Daniel's courage, his talent, and his heart. They talked about how music is not just about perfection, but about truth. Daniel stood there in tears, barely believing what was happening. When the votes came in, it was a clear yes from all the judges. Daniel had made it through. His mother ran onto the stage, hugging him as confetti fell. For the first time since the flood, Daniel felt like the future might be bright. That audition did not just change Daniel's life. It inspired millions of people around the world. His story reminded everyone that even when everything is taken away, hope can still survive. A poor boy who once sang on flooded streets had moved one of the toughest judges in the world to tears. As Daniel walked off the stage that night, he was no longer just a survivor. He was a symbol of strength, resilience, and the power of dreams.